Perfect. Now I'm going to show you how Arena, a new feature on MeetaDev, can help you study on your learning journey. Even if you're getting into a new technology like AI, or learning a new language, or you are a Scrum Master, or you are a project manager, there's a lot that Arena can help you do, and it's a guided path that Arena gives you. Now, I'll just log into MeetaDev, that is the Arena page here. And then right here, the first thing you will see is maybe the landing page where you have the Arena, and you can create a challenge here. So in Arena, the first step you have to do is to create a challenge. So the challenge can be a solo challenge, like you only evaluating yourself, or it can be a group challenge where you invite other participants or your colleagues. Maybe you could be a mentor at a boot camp. So you want to now challenge your students to see the understanding. Now, or if you are an individual and you want to gauge yourself before you you dive deep into what you want to learn, then the challenge will help you evaluate how best you can perform. So I can come here and click on create challenge. And in this demo, I want to try myself on or test myself on what we call Azure administration, that is the AZ104. So in the title here, I'll just click Azure administration fundamentals, then bracket AZ104. And then I can choose to type what will participants be tested on, or I can now use AI to help me write this and also rewrite that title right there. So I'll click on rewrite, and you can see rewriting. Now you see the description is there, like the challenge tests your knowledge and skills on managing Azure subscriptions, implementing storage solutions, configuring virtual networks, and monitoring Azure resources. So that's the description that is generated by AI based on the title that you gave us. And also the title is written again using AI to make it more polished. And then now you can choose to schedule that challenge. Let's say you plan with your team that you will have a challenge tonight at 8 p.m. or next week, the 1st, or any other time. You can schedule a challenge so that people are aware in advance that you have a challenge. And they can join that challenge in advance and even share that challenge online so that other participants can join. So in this case, for this demo, I just want to start when ready. So start when ready is where I will start the game immediately, and then participants can join, like scan a QR code or using the game code, they can join. And then the challenge will be timed. So I would love to have maybe 60 seconds per question. So participants have up to 60 seconds or 1 minute per question to answer before that question is closed and users are ranked. Now in this case, I can choose to have 100 participants maximum, or whichever number you want, you can always edit it right there. Then the next thing is now for me to go to what we call the questions themselves. So here I can choose to generate these questions using AI, okay? So using AI, what I'll do, I'll just click on generate with AI, and then I want how many questions, 3 or 5. So I'll select 5 questions, and then I click generate. So it will take some time while generating, and then we'll have those 5 questions here for you to review before you actually submit and open the lobby for those who want to participate to join. So let's see what we'll be having here. Fantastic. So we see 5 generated questions where we have question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5. You can choose to add more or delete some, okay? And in this case, we have now 5 questions ready. Next thing is now for me or the host or the mentor now to review those questions and then launch. So I'll click on review, and then I can see even the answers that are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions and their answers, and then a summary of what the users will see. And then right here I can now do what? Open lobby. So you see now we have the lobby here, and this is an instant play. So the next thing you want to do is to now maybe share this game code with your participants, or ask them to scan the QR code here. This QR code will also auto join them in the game. And then after this, the next thing I want to do, because I'm alone here for the demo, I don't have any participant here, I can just click on start game. And then we'll have a countdown from 10 to 9, so you jog your mind that it's now time to participate. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, first question, understanding Azure subscriptions. What is the primary purpose of Azure subscription? To provide a billing account for monthly charges, to get Azure resources, to isolate different projects, define user permissions. That is option A. I click on that, and then we see that is incorrect. So the correct answer is to isolate different projects or environments. So an explanation is right there, like in Azure subscription primarily serves to isolate resources into different projects or environments, allowing for better. So basically, what you can see here is when you get it wrong, you get the right answer right there with you and an explanation on why that's the right answer, not just like A or B as the answer. An explanation too will be right there. Now, next question. Now I take the next question myself, so I click on next. Now, configuring storage solutions. Which storage option is best for storing unstructured data such as images or documents? So in this case, I think it's Azure Blob. So let's click on that. That is correct, and I get an explanation of what it is. Next question. Virtual networks configuration. What is the purpose of a network security group, NSG in Azure? So I have to find out to control inbound, outbound, private IP address, to allocate bandwidth for different resources. I think it's option C. Incorrect. So NSG is used to define and enforce rules for controlling inbound and outbound network traffic sources. So you see, if it's wrong, I also get to see which answer is correct and an explanation to why it's correct. Then the next question. Monitoring Azure resources. Which Azure resource provides a centralized view for monitoring resources across subscriptions? So we have ARM, Security Center, Advisor, Monitor. I think it's Monitor. And we are right. I get 880 points up. Then the next question. Managing Azure costs. Okay, now what is the purpose of Azure cost management billing? To forecast future cloud expenses, to automatically scale based on cost, to manage user access to subscriptions, to create and manage virtual machines. I think it's to forecast future. I mean, perfect. So I have a streak of 2 up to now, and I'm up by 827 points. And then after this, now I can show final results. So we see, because I'm alone in this challenge, I'm position 1 and having 2611 points. Remember, you are given points based on how fast you can answer a question and how correct it is. Basically, what we call the latency of this challenge. So right from here, I can now choose to share my results. I click on that, and now I have a card here that has all my statistics or scores, and then I can customize it to any color I want. And then if I like dark mode and if I like light mode, I can come here and just choose any mode. But I think I love this purple here. And then I can download this and then share somewhere, maybe on LinkedIn, on X, or in your WhatsApp status, just to invite other people to participate with you or take challenge. All right. So I'll just download it again, and that is it. I can also choose to share it, and then I can choose to share from where, to TikTok, to X, or anywhere, call it. Now, we are done with the challenge. You got to your results. You can now see the questions you got wrong and what you got right here. So you can see first question I got wrong, and explanation is there. Third question I got wrong, and everything I got right also there. So you can choose to play again, whichever thing you like to do. And then, now here's the important point, analysis. So here, we'll have an analysis of your performance, and then we will curate for you best resources to help you skill up on your areas of weaknesses. As you can see, Alex has now joined you in this challenge. So what is Alex saying? Alex is saying you scored 3 out of 5, which shows you are getting there, but still have a room for improvement. Now, you did well on configuring storage solutions and monitoring Azure resources, but you struggled with understanding Azure subscriptions and virtual networks. Those are foundational topics that are crucial for effective Azure administration, right? And then we'll come back to this later, this part here, but let's go to our strengths. Configurations and storage, perfect. Now, what we need to improve on is struggling with subscriptions and virtual networks. And then you see, Alex has given me a pop-up here. Congratulations on completing Azure challenge, scoring 60%. It's a ready start. So you can read that later. I'll show you where to get that message from. Alex. Now you also see we have learning resources here curated, so we actually get you relevant resources for you to learn from, documentations, blogs, articles. So our system ranks the best ones and the most that have the good information or good content for you. So what you see here, you'll never get a broken link, you'll never get something that doesn't exist. We give you the most recent ones that are very meaningful and useful to you. So you can click on anyone here, and for example, let's click on the pricing one, the first one. If I click on this, it will take me to exactly that resource. So you can see we have Azure pricing here, and down here you can see the overview. Look at that. Just a minute. Perfect. You see, we have the pricing and then what you can do, estimate Azure projects cost. So you get to learn like by product, everything right here. Everything is like relevant to what you've done. And coming to the second one here, look at this. Creating Azure free account is there. Virtual networks. Let's look at virtual networks. You get a documentation here, like what is a virtual network, and it's right there with all the information. So if it is what your weakness was, you can come here, learn, and then go back and you can play again or create another challenge, even more advanced for you to evaluate yourself. So let's go back and see what's next. So once you are here, now the next thing is now for you to start studying. So what do we need to do? One, just click on start with Alex. Now you can turn these gaps into strengths. Alex builds you a step-by-step plan, targeted resources, real projects, and one-on-one mentorship based on exactly where you struggle today. Look at that. So for me to come up with this journey, I just click on start with Alex. And then Alex will now curate for me a learning journey or a roadmap, a study plan that I can use. This study plan has modules and a capstone project, which you have to submit, and still Alex will review everything you do and tell you if you are fit to move to the next challenge or if you still need to like go deep into what you are studying. Perfect. So here we are. You can see we now have the journey here. Azure Fundamentals is the 104, and we have two modules here. One is understanding subscriptions, and the second one is let's see what we have in the second one, configuring Azure virtual networks. Look at that. Look at that. And every module gives you resources that you need to use. And then we have a capstone project. Look at this. Azure Virtual Network Setup and Security Lab. So requirements. Set up at least 2 virtual networks with different address spaces. Create 2 subnets with each virtual network and assign appropriate IP ranges. Implement network security groups to control inbound and outbound traffic. And then establish peering between the virtual networks to allow communication. So suppose you started with the first one here. Let's come here, the first module, and then we want to check in. You can also have hints. Look at that. We have hints here on what you can, how best you can use this. So let's assume we are done, and now we want to check in with Alex. Alex will first ask you 2 questions just to gauge if you really went ahead and did the capstone project and went through those learning resources. If you fail those 2 questions, you can't submit a capstone project. You have to go back and redo it again and let Alex check in with you again. So check in with Alex. You see it's preparing 2 questions for you. 1, how does the structure of Azure subscriptions influence resources, access, and cost management in a project? Look at that. You have to answer that first. And then number 2, what potential issues could arise in resource allocation and building if Azure subscriptions are not properly understood and managed? So you have to be aware of these questions because that is what was part of the resources that Alex gave you. Okay. Now you need to answer this and that, and then submit. You get a score, and then go to the next project or module in that learning journey. Submit and get a score. That is how you will be studying. And then once you are done with this module here, you will be able to get a message from Alex telling you what you did best and the next learning journey for you or path that you can take. So that is how this arena can help you. Basically do what? On your learning. So that is it, how the arena works. Thank you for watching. See you in the next demo of Alex. Now I'm going to show you Alex in action. and how you can talk to Alex, ask questions, advices, best practices. See you in the next challenge. Osoko Courts signing out. MeetaDev, Africa's Tech Pulse.